And off the top at 11, we are following developing news that we first brought you as breaking news on 24-hour News 8 at 5. After nearly 8 years, the body of Venus Stewart has been found.
Police say her estranged husband, who was convicted in her killing, led investigators to her remains today, just 12 miles from her parents' house, where she was last seen alive in 2010.
We do have team coverage for you on this story tonight. 24-hour News 8's Leon Hendricks has a look back at how the case got started and the desperate attempts to cover it up.
Now, first we start with Target 8 investigator Susan Samples in Kalamazoo County, near where the body was found this afternoon.
Michigan State Police have wrapped up the scene here, but it was 10 to 15 yards into these woods off a 2-track and country road that Doug Stewart led police to Venus Stewart's remains. This is about 12 miles north, a dozen miles north of where she was last seen at her parents' home. These are the woods that held the key to an 8-year mystery, finally unlocked by the killer himself. Doug Stewart wanted some privileges in prison, but investigators think he also felt pressure from the relationship that's blossomed in the past year between his side of the family and that of the woman he murdered.
And I think that, along with knowing that, his daughters wanted to know where their mom was at, that's a pretty heavy weight to bear.
But nothing like the weight of not knowing. Venus's dad died last year, robbed of any closure, if there's such a thing. Police say the rest of her family is relieved by the discovery of her remains, but also reliving the immense grief.
They knew this day was coming, and now that it's here, it kind of takes them right back to that day again.
Venus and her 2 daughters, 4 and 6 at the time of her disappearance, had moved back home to her parents' house from Virginia. On that April morning in 2010, Doug Stewart abducted Venus as she walked to the mailbox. He buried her body here in a remote area he knew because his father had a logging company and cut wood here. Stewart had little trouble directing police to the spot where he buried his wife.
A specific piece of evidence from the original case was this blue tarp, and he had advised us that that was going to be inside the grave as well, and we located that. So that's what first led us to believe, yep, we're in the right spot here, we just have to keep going and we're going to find her.
As for additional details, for instance, Venus Stewart's cause of death, Michigan State Police are not making that information public right now out of respect for the family. Investigators tell me Venus's mom doesn't want to know that information right now, and it won't change Doug Stewart's sentence. He's in prison for life without the possibility of parole. In Kalamazoo County, I'm Susan Samples, 24-hour News 8.